What's up everyone, Games here, coming at you with 3 different Garuda builds to fit your every need. Warframe need, that is. These are all quite high investment builds, but the result is an ST or Warframe that is super versatile to play. The timestamps are in the description, but otherwise grab a snack and something to hydrate yourself and let's get into it. Okay, so the first build that we have is our Gloom Garuda build. Now, I would argue this is probably the best one of the lot because you can do melee, you can do Gunrunner, and even the ability damage from your fort does a little bit. Not that we rely on it, not that this is our main damage dealer, but it does get some kills thanks to the help of our companion. But yeah, this is probably the best all-arounder. Now, I did mention these are expensive builds. These are endgame builds, which means they are pricey for former, and that does include at least 2 Umbral former. Now, you could even want to have 3 on it. I personally am saving my Umbral formers for different builds, so I am playing 2, but I will go through everything now and explain what is what. So for the aura slot, this is flexible. I play physique just to get to the 1500 health to be able to have 3 seconds of immunity with arcane persistence. You can change it for something else, you can play growing power, etc, because this can be fixed with Archon shards, and this build is probably the least Archon shard dependent of the lot. And yeah, so yeah, the aura slot is fairly flexible in this. So is the Exilis to an extent. I mean, I like ability strength on it, but just because ability strength helps with the lifesteal. But you can go with something like range if you prefer. You can even go with prime sure-footed. Not that that's a good idea because your 1 gives you knockdown resistance, but say you're the type of person that lets abilities run out and you don't really notice, prime sure-footed can be good for you, but that is more of a skill issue rather than it being a good ability, good mod to use in this case. So the triple umbral mods, physique, and we also have 2 Tau blue health shards, so we do end up with 1500 health, 1560 to be exact, so we can take 3 attacks and still have 60 health left. I mean, by 3 attacks, I mean 3 seconds worth of persistence blocking damage. We do have 1176 armor, and you might be thinking, okay, we have such high armor, why are we playing health conversion? Well, health conversion is there for 2 reasons. Number 1 is arcane battery. It's nice, I like playing arcane battery and primary overcharge. However, the main reason really is environmental hazards that do heat damage or corrosive. Because like the vitriol in Murmur, and I think Scaldra has some kind of corrosive environmental hazard, they will take your armor away, and if you dip below 700 armor, persistence stops working and you die. We don't want that, so health conversion helps us stay alive. Simple, but if you really think like, okay, I'm not playing a map with any environmental hazards, I'm going to be very vigilant and use my 3 to status cleanse from any heat procs, you can replace this for something else. That is an option, and then you can play something like range if you want with stretch, or you can even play something like narrow-minded. It's really up to you at that point. And now range affects our Gloom, it affects I think our launch distance for this, but our launch distance crazy as is anyway, and it also seeking talents, so range does help this build a little bit. Prime continuity just to have a bit more duration and not dip into the negatives, because duration is really good. Again, Gloom, Dread Mirror, and Seeking Talents, they all get impacted by it. Now, what I wouldn't play here, and you might think like, okay, well, why not play something like Blind Rage? Well, let's have a look what happens when we put Blind Rage on. When we put Blind Rage on, our thing dips to our Bloodletting dips to 25%. It's not 25%, this is a visual bug. It's actually about, I think, 18%. When I was testing it without the Arcane Battery, we would have 912 maximum energy, but I was only getting refunded about 150 energy per cast. It's not comfortable. And strength is not super needed in here, because the main thing is really that we want is for the lifesteal from Gloom. But the 13% here is more than enough. So I like health conversion more. Just, it's more comfortable. We do play Blend and Talons because it's just a nice AoE priming nuke for slash, and everything gets slash, and then you are having a good time. If you're playing the Garuda Claws for your melee, they also benefit from it. However, that's another thing that's not really necessary. You can take it off and just have the aimed regular Seeking Talons. Now, the benefits of actually doing it this way, Seeking Talons, if you cast it without the augments and you up in the air, you can aim it to shoot it at enemies on the ground. Now, Blend and Talons, if you cast it and you're too high above enemies, you're not going to hit the enemies below you. But it does hit everything around you instead. So it's really like a playstyle difference, and especially if you're not playing her claws as your melee weapon and you're using another melee weapon, this becomes less relevant and much more optional. But if you are playing her claws, I probably would keep the Blend and Talons version instead. I mean, I think Prime Flow is pretty self-explanatory, right? It's like we want energy. We do want energy because we cast Seeking Talons quite a lot. Gloom drains energy. And I also like to play Arcane Battery as a set for primary overcharge. One last thing to address here actually is Gloom and how Gloom works. Because if you really wanted to, you could actually go into negative range, and all that you're losing is the slow effect on Gloom. Because the way the lifesteal works is while you're inside the aura of Gloom, you as a Warframe, not the enemies, but you yourself, you get the lifesteal across any range. Which means you can actually go negative range. Now your Seeking Talons, they do get impacted by it, but only with a Blend and Talons augment. So, what we can do instead, and I will not actually have enough former here, so this is where you would want either third umbral fiber, or you can do something like this and play Steel Charges the aura. And we can go narrow-minded and laugh all the way to the bank. Yeah, you still get the lifesteal. You don't care. It doesn't matter. So narrow-minded becomes really good because Gloom drains less. Your Dread Mirror, all of a sudden, well, do you see, the only thing is Dread Mirror's launch range is not great, and the explosion radius for the Dread Mirror cast is not great. But really, at least myself and I personally use Dread Mirror mainly for nuking the Acolytes, and if you aim it, 3.4 meters is enough. And the launch distance, well, it's not ideal, but also you can play around it because you don't need to constantly spam it, you only need to recast it when it's about to run out. So again, that's 10 meters is decent, not the end of the world, you can use it. But it does make you upkeep all your abilities a lot more. And Seeking Talons, without the augment, when you just aim it, does not care about range. There's no range here. Do you see? There's no range stat at all. It's only when you chuck the augment on that they start caring about range. So this is another way to play, which might be even a better way to play. So it's up to you. There is a little bit of versatility in it. It's not super cutthroat on how you have to build it. But the main thing is you want high armor, high health, arcane persistence, and decent energy. That's the main thing. Not to dip into negative duration as well. The last arcane slot, arcane persistence is mandatory, like we have to run it. But the arcane battery, that's also optional. Fun. Yeah, this is a versatile build. You can play it in many ways. You can go Arcane Avenger for extra crits, you can go Arcane Arachne for extra weapon damage. Hell, you can even go Arcane Blessing if you really want it for extra health, and then you're really tanky. Like, you have a lot of health then, which is completely up to you. However you want to play it, because you can actually go, I like Primary Overcharge, but we have so much armor that you can go Arcane Blessing, and you can play Primary Bulwark instead, which is also really strong buffer. So again, entirely up to you, how you want to build this, how you want to play it. It's quite versatile. Weapons, play whatever you want. I like any beam weapon on this because each time it's continuous damage, so you're constantly getting healed with it. Also with turrets specifically, before you activate the Incarnon mode and you shoot the little grenade, the toxin cloud that keeps being in the air will keep healing you as well, even once you're in the Incarnon form and shooting your lasers. And it's also super strong. It's the strongest primary in the game, arguably, between that and Burst On. If you want to play Burst On, it still will work. Honestly, this build, you play whatever you want. Like, the main thing is Warframe. And this is how you build the Warframe, with some changes that you can make that I already mentioned. The weapons are entirely up to you. I like Latum for the secondary, again, quick killer, but you can play something like Grimoire if you like Grimoire, you can play Epitaph for priming, you can, again, play whatever you want. Now, what I really do like with this build is Okina Prime. Okina Prime is really, really awesome. Now, you can play the Talons. I personally am not a fan of the Talons. They were never, like, they were the selling point for me when I first built her. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, she has her own melee, they look really cool, because they do actually look really, really cool. But they are not the best melee in the game. Now, what Okina Prime is really good for, and I think dual Ichor Incarnon will also do the same thing, because of the toxic explosions. Okina Prime creates daggers, which means they will keep damaging enemies, which means your lifesteal will keep rocking. You're not dying. This is what the clip from the beginning of the video was, where the daggers were killing things and, well, not killing, at the very least damaging things. And also on top of it, we had the Panzer. Now the Panzer spreads viral. Viral goes everywhere, and so does your healing. Your healing goes everywhere, and you survive everything. It's pretty damn good. Arcane Shards. Okay, the Arcane Shards here, as I mentioned, I think at the start, I played 2 blue for health, just to get the health up. This is nice, this is comfortable. I played 2 strength shards and 1 casting speed shard. This build is not super dependent on the Arcane Shards, so you can, again, tweak them how you want a little bit. I would recommend keeping the health ones a bit, just in case, to be close to 1500, and then as you saw, I was playing physique, so I was over 1500 health. But if you can get over 1500 health, you're very comfortable. You are very comfortable. But you can do whatever you want. You can build Topaz Shards for extra secondary critical if you really like secondary weapons. You can have more casting speed shards. It's really entirely up to you. Oh, and also if you really want to just keep melee, you can go for the purple melee crit. Versatile. That's what we like. That's what we like in a build. A build that is not super cookie cutter, but you can actually play around with a little bit more. Focus School, play Madra. Madra is the best focus school in the game, so we play it. If we are ever downed, if we get magnetic procced or nullified and get killed, Last Grasp is better than Madra because we have the most uprated damage thanks to our 2-on-1. As I mentioned, Companion, we do play the Panzer, and that is because the viral spread will keep ticking your lifesteal, and you just keep getting health back and back and back. If you want to have a look at what I am playing, I do play Hunter Recovery for more healing. Not that we need it, but more healing, why not? We play Link Fiber, we have very high armor, so we keep Link Fiber. If you want, you can actually also squeeze in Link Vitality. And as you see, I don't have it fully leveled, but that will be also very good. We have very high health. If you play Arcane Blessing, you have even more high health, so versatility is out of this world here. I like Momentous Bond, just in case it gets down, to get it back up quicker. And yeah, that's the build. For the claws, I didn't come up with this claws build, I nicked it off another YouTuber, or maybe somebody off Warframe, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting now. I will try and figure out who I nicked it off, but just, yeah, can't take the credit for this build. And that's pretty much it for this build. It's pretty straightforward, but it's damn good. This is my favorite Garuda build, and yeah, I think she's one of my favorite frames now. Like, she's so nice and comfortable to play. And I'm a big fan of her proto frame. I'm just saying, she looks good. She looks good. They did a good job on the design, and I'm looking forward to the update dropping. Okay, on to the next build. For our next build, we have the caster version of Garuda. Now, the caster version is a little bit cheaper. We don't need the Umbral Formers in here, I believe. I don't believe we need a single one, actually. As you can see, we have 11 energy left. And that's even with this being their own polarity. But the way that it works is we use Breach Surge and Seeking Talons together to create an infinite damage loop, which will cap the enemies. It's really good. And we also abuse some silly things because Breach Surge does count as a weapon, and the sparks that it creates can also crit. So, we'll play the Mecha set with Horus Kubro, to stay invisible, the mecha set nukes on its own. It also makes one enemy 150% more vulnerable to our damage. Well, I guess we deal just 150% more damage to it. And we crit with Arcane Crepuscular. Really, really strong build. Really fun. I did not expect Caster Garuda to be so fun, but it is. I enjoyed it. So Aura Slot again, we'll play Power Drift. Dread Mirror takes away the need for Prime Sure-Footed, so we're good on that front. Umbral Intensify because it's the easiest general strength buff here. We don't play Blind Rage because of the negative efficiency. It really hurts in Bloodletting. As you can see as well, we are going to be spamming a lot of abilities, so we don't really want low efficiency. I wasn't a fan of it in testing. I just ended up using Bloodletting more than I was using the other abilities, just because the efficiency doesn't work properly. And yeah. We play both Augur Reach and Stretch to get 175 ability range. I did test it with Overextended and it was okay, but I think I'd rather have the 60% extra strength than more range. And it was just like that. This is my comfort spot. If you want, you don't have to really play one of these, and you can choose to play Overextend instead, but I think the strength is a bit more important here. Blend and Talons because it turns our Seeking Talons into an omnidirectional AoE, and so is Breach Surge, so they just synergize very nicely. In this build, Blend and Talons is mandatory. Prime Continuity, just not to dip into negative duration. I mean, the more duration we have, the longer these two will keep ticking for, so really you want to have more duration. It's really good. Transient Fortitude because I'd rather take the duration hit than the efficiency hits, so we have to take a hit on something. And we do want the general strength, otherwise I would try Precision Intensify over Umbral Intensify, but Breach Surge is the main source of damage here, I think. So we do want the general strength. Mecha Pulse for the mecha set, and plus the 60% armor is quite nice. You know, it's free survivability, so why not? Prime Flow for energy. Arcane Arachne because Breach Surge is coded as a weapon. Beautiful. An ability coded as a weapon is Arachne's best friend, and it works wonderfully on it. And so does Arcane Propulsor. Great. All very, very good. All very synergistic. Weapons don't matter, we're not going to be using them, so we'll play Praetors for the movement speed. And companions, we'll play our Horus Kubro. This is the build that I'm using for it. The main thing that you need really is stock. The mecha mod. I still like Synthetic Construct, even though you're probably not doing very much and you don't really need it with this build, but you know. The main thing I really like is Momentous Bond, just to get him up quicker if he ever goes down. Because even though you are going to be manually reviving him more than trying to kill enough Eximus units to revive him with that, if as soon as he goes down, the visibility doesn't wear off straight away, you might kill a couple of Eximus units in the process and he might be 50% recovered by the time you go to manually pick him up, which means your manual pickup will take a lot less time, right? Synergistic, you know, it's nice. Duplex Bond actually just allows us to have the companion also still deal damage even when we're invisible, so it's pretty great for that. And the Claws build, this is what we play. This is the important part, and then this just helps us deal damage. I forgot to mention about Archon Shards in this build before I moved on to the next one, so I am retroactively recording this. You, for the caster build, just want 5 strength. 5 Tau strength. That's all you want. Or you can play like 4 with 1 cast speed or 3 with 2 cast speed, but the 5 strength will give you the biggest amount of boost. Madurai will give you the ability casting speed, so it doesn't feel bad anyway, even if you play with the 5 reds. But yeah, strength is what you want here. Another important thing for this build specifically, which is only important for this caster build, is you need to run some kind of healing with your operator. Now preferably Megas Elevate because it restores 300 health on transference in back into your Warframe, and the transference is very, very quick, so you can just press your 5 twice or whatever your transference hotkey is twice, and it'll be much quicker than using Megas Repair. but Maker's Repair will also do the job if you don't have Elevate and you want to use that instead. Last thing I want to say about this build is about the gear wheel, and this is what I like to mention in every Horus Kubro / Shade build that relies on visibility for casting, and that's Atomic Cycle. This is like the most underused utility in the game, because your companion goes down, Atomic Cycle can be summoned on any tile set, its 3 makes you invisible, and the invisibility is plenty for you to go and revive your companion while being completely safe. Use it, it's great. I hot-bound it to my 6, and I actually have it hotkeyed to also another one of my mouse buttons. Got 2 more builds left, but they're really kind of one build with different subsumes and 1 different mod, so I'm just gonna go over it and explain what is happening with it. Now this is a Gunrunner build. It's not really a melee build because you are a bit more stuck in place, but it is an Immortal Gunrunner, so you will, again, with Persistence, be Immortal, and the way that we heal back here is with the Blood Altar. We, again, play 3 Umbral mods for the defenses. We play Health Conversion for extra armor, again, in case we run into environmental hazards, for our Persistence to still be active. So if something applies corrosive procs or heat procs and we don't notice and cleanse them in time, just for us not to die. We also do have an extra added bit of immortality of quick thinking, so if something goes wrong, say your blood altar gets nullified by a bubble behind you and you didn't notice, quick thinking will still save you. It's great. Who doesn't want 2 layers of immortality? I mean, come on. Now the difference between these 2 builds is Xata's, this is what I would play if I was playing like Xata's Whisper, Raw or Eclipse, and the slight changes here are with Silence I play Overextended instead of Stretch, and that is mainly because Overextended is necessary in order for Silence to reach far enough to silence all of the Eximus units. So Jade Light Eximus can be so far back but still hit you without Overextended. With Overextended, you're fine. I've never been hit by a beam of Jade Light with this on. So that's the only trade-off. You do have less strength, but because Silence doesn't really care about strength that much, and we still have enough strength to out-heal everything. Look, we're having 40% health recovered per second, and we have basically 1500 health, right? So we're fine. Plus, we still have quick thinking as that extra little bit of backup. Arcane Battery is here for both quick thinking and primary overcharge. I love primary overcharge, it's my favorite primary arcane, so I try to use it as much as I can. At least at the moment. Yeah, this is a pretty comfortable build. I actually probably prefer the Silence build a little bit more. It does less damage than Xata's, or if you play Raw, it obviously does less damage than Raw. But it's, again, just you turn your brain off, you pew pew pew, and everything still dies just a little bit slower, and you just make your way through the map, through the survival mission, disruption mission, whatever the hell you're playing, very comfortably. And yeah. Silence out-silences, violence is silence. So you're not really worried about violence turning off all of your abilities and you dying because violence is a stupid acolyte that should not have been put in the game. But it's fine, Garuda doesn't care. Like, we have ways to deal with violence. I'm just salty about violence for the weaker frames. Prime Flow again for the energy to go with the battery and for quick thinking. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. I like Torrids with this build because primary overcharge and Torrid is really strong. I also like Aceltra quite a lot. If you are playing the Xata's version, do not play Torrid, do not play Aceltra, because the actual void bubble that gets created by the void damage will attract all of the goodness into it. I don't know how to really explain it well, but the AoE that it's supposed to be doing is it's not going to be working properly, so you're going to be dealing less damage, and you'll actually be doing more damage with Silence than you will be with Xata's. But if you're playing Raw, then you can be playing Torrids, Aceltra, and those kind of AoEs. With Xata's Whisper, what you want to be playing is the good old Skuva Sobek. Now I need to kill my Lich to get the better Sobek, but yeah, this is my Sobek build. Pretty standard. Pretty standard. And I do like the Latum here for quickly killing anything that's problematic, not to worry about it. And for the melee, I play Praetos because we're not going to be meleeing anything. Again, just movement text is nice. This is definitely just a Gunrunner build, but it is an Immortal one that does quite a good amount of DPS. For the focus school, we do also play Madurai here because Madurai is just best in class, and I'd keep playing it. You can actually play something like, I think Vazarin is decent on this, just for a little bit of extra survivability, but I like Madurai. Just because if I ever do somehow go down, I get nullified, I go down, Last Grasp in Madurai is the best Last Grasp you can get. Madurai is the best operated damage school. For the companion, I really like playing the Hound here. That's mainly because I play the Silence build more than the Xatas, and it's really funny for me to silence Jade Light Eximus units, but for my Hound to be using their abilities still. So they can't use their Jade Light, but I can use their Jade Light. So it's just something a little bit hilarious for me with that. If you want to have a look at the Hound build that I'm using, this is what I went with. And for the Laser 10, however you say it. This is what I'm playing. This is my Riven. It's pretty decent. Actually, fun fact for you to know, negative attack speed does nothing. Absolutely nothing to the attack speed of the Hound. Has no impact. Now, this build is probably the one with the most necessary Archon shards. So we do want to have one yellow, want to have at least one red, in order to get enough strength for the Blood Altar healing. And we want to play 2 Azure health to get the health up. And on top of it, we would probably want here to be a armor shard. Again, just in case we get high corrosive procs, corrosive stacks on us, for us to still have persistence going. And that is it for the builds, guys. I'm going to leave you with some gameplay in the background now, just to enjoy, to see what the different builds are like. I'm not going to play the entire 5-minute segments of survivals because the video will be very long. Nobody's going to watch all that. So again, there will be timestamps for different demos. You can skip to the build that you want to see how it works. And that's it. Yeah, if you could leave a like, comment, and a subscription, that would be greatly appreciated. It really helps the channel grow. I will catch you in the next one. Big love as always. Bye.